Well, the Leafs were looking to get back into the series as they played Game 2 last night against the Bruins.
Lead pass for Matthews. Matthews is in alone. Scores! Holy mackerel! Big.
Auston Matthews broke a 2-2 tie with just under 8 minutes left in that third period. A big game for him.
All right, so let's debrief now with TSN Bardown's Corwin McCallum. Corwin, good to talk to you this morning. That Auston Matthews highlight, he was having, some people suggested this may have been the best game of his professional career. Goal, 2 assists. What's your take on Auston last night?
He was incredible, especially in a moment where you really needed him. William Nylander's actually missing from the game. Mitch Marner didn't have his best game, so you really needed someone to step up, and Auston Matthews was that guy. It was very impressive, as he said. The 2 assists were also primary assists. He actually set up those goals directly, which is pretty huge. And then even just his share of dominance on the ice was just so impressive. Away from home, get the home ice advantage back, and coming back to Toronto, hoping to win both.
Now, Corwin, there's only been 2 games played in this series, but of course, Boston had beaten Toronto coming into this, 5 straight times, 4 times during the regular season. I know that the playoffs is completely different. Is there much we can distinguish from these 2 games? And does Game 2 lead us to think that Game 3 could go a different direction now?
I think the main thing you can take away from it is that they are a very good team and they can compete in this series. Like, I think obviously Boston's a very good team as well. It's not as if this is going to be an easy matchup or anything. It never was for the Leafs. As you said, they've had some struggles against them recently. But I think that in both of these games, they actually, despite the scoreline in the first one, obviously there are some goals that go in that maybe you kind of want back, and you maybe just hope you get a save from Samsonov. But I think realistically they can compete in both these games. They got to stay out of the box. That's a very key one, and hope to draw some penalties. But I think they're in this series, and it's going to be a tight one.
I wanted to pick up on that discipline side, Corwin, because that's something Sheldon Keefe had talked a lot about, even, Brad Treliving as well, that they need to not be drawn into taking those, kind of stupid penalties, as it were, kind of like what happened with McCabe in the first period here. Did you see enough discipline from the Leafs last night?
Yeah, I think after that penalty, like you said, that one was not great. It was one of the least disciplined penalties I've seen in a while. But it was great to see, again, the guy that narrative was kind of surrounding in the first game was Max Domi, who's out there cross-checking Brad Marchand, giving him little slashes off the face-off, and takes a penalty that ends up costing them in that game. And then he comes back the next game after an undisciplined penalty from Jake McCabe. They kill it, and then Max Domi scores that game-tying goal, and that's pretty huge.
Yeah. Okay. And let's be honest. Like, it wasn't a must-win game last night, but for the psyche and the mentality of the team, it must have felt like that. How important do you think that is for the series? The fact that they have gotten a split out of this and haven't lost like a 6th game in a row to the Bruins.
Yeah, pretty huge. Again, I even tweeted on Twitter, it felt like a must-win game for the Leafs. It's just one of those things that I think people throw around pretty casually in the playoffs because they all kind of feel like must-win games, right? It's as soon as you start losing, like Boston loses that and they lose home ice advantage, right? So it's a pretty massive shift in the series, and I think it'll be huge for Toronto. I think the big one you really hope it's good for is like Mitch Marner, because that top line of Matthews, Bertuzzi, Domi is really buzzing right now, and if they can get the second line going as well, then that'll be pretty huge.
Okay, listen, TSN Bardown's Corwin McCallum, appreciate you helping us sort of break down Game 2. Let's see what happens in Game 3 tomorrow night. Appreciate the time.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
All right.